Welcome to Light. I'm your host, and today we've got some insane breaking news that I woke up to. Um, Former Vice President, 2020 nominee for the presidency, Joe Biden, had an attempted assassination on his life. I don't know the exact date yet. This is all really fast and really new. But I do know quite a bit about this. So, first of all, we already know who it is. That's completely confirmed. And second of all, we know what his motives were. That's confirmed. So I'm just going to wait for a second here, let a couple people get in here, and then we're going to be jumping right into this article over here. Got some people in the chat. We got you. I don't want to get this going too far before I'm already talking about everything and nobody knows what I said. Come on, you slowpokes. I'm streaming here. Let's get going, huh? You got people in here or not? I don't see anybody. Should I just keep going? The message sent and everything? Well, I was waiting on some people to show up here, but I can't wait all day, so let's get the show on the road. Once again, welcome to Light. I'm your host. Today we're going over the assassination attempt of Joe Biden. Now, this just came out, like, immediately. This article I'm looking at here is only a few hours ago. And this is some pretty crazy stuff. Let's get right into it. The FBI and the police have thwarted an assassination attempt on former Vice President Joe Biden, who is Donald Trump's rival in November 3rd, 2020 presidential election. This is reported by the newspaper, The Washington Post, investigation of a 19-year-old Seattle native, Alexander Treisman, has been completed. Oh, the investigation is. He admitted he was planning to kill Joe Biden. In addition, he also confirmed that he was interested in the massacres and major terrorist attacks committed in the United States in the 21st century and was thinking about how to repeat something similar. Okay, now we're getting some people in here. Yeah, I'll go over that again in a minute. But yeah, okay, so as we see here, this is a guy who's been motivated. Whoops. Hold on. Okay. This is a guy who's been motivated by the terrorist attacks of the past, such as the Governor Whitmer attacks, such as, the right-wing separatist attacks of the 90s. That's what he takes motivation from. He made that very clear. And these are the exact kind of attacks that President Trump has been egging on the past few weeks here. Like, it's beyond dangerous at this point. And really, there's no excuse. There's no excuse to keep somebody like this in office, let alone in polite society. At this point, he's a danger and a threat to American sovereignty, American safety, and American freedom. That's all there really is to it. So anyway, how are we doing there? Okay. Quick little overview then for you. The FBI has thwarted an assassination attempt on former Vice President Joe Biden. The investigation confirmed a 19-year-old Seattle native, Alexander Treisman, has been confirmed there. He was motivated by American terrorist attacks in the past, domestic terrorist attacks, and probably foreign as well. And that's what I just went over there. Now we're going to move on in the article. So, the traitor was arrested. Traitor. It sounds like traitor, but they actually mean trader, because I think that was his job. The traitor was arrested on May 28th in Kannapolis, North Carolina, after police searched a car he left behind in a Fifth Third Bank branch. Locals drew attention to the suspicious white Ford. The minivan stood on the streets for several hours. The patrolman looked through the car window and saw firearms in the cabin. The officer then contacted the FBI. The car was opened. Inside, they found an AR-15 semi-auto, 9mm explosives, a book on how to make an explosive, and $500,000 in cash. I wonder what that's about. So yeah, as you can see, this was a huge plan. Like, not only did he plan to take out Joe Biden, this guy probably planned to take out as many Americans as he could possibly get his hands on. He had bombs in there. He had multiple weapons in there, a bunch of ammunition, $500,000 from some, I wonder what that's about. Minivan terrorist, right? But yeah, deadly intentions here. This was a big domestic terrorist plot that got outed by the FBI, thankfully. Just like the Governor Whitmer terrorist attempt. Well, now it's happening to Joe Biden. If you notice that none of this has ever happened like from left-wing Antifa radical extremists. None of this has ever happened from them to Trump. I might just throw that in there real quick. Not to make something like this partisan, because it doesn't need to be, but it is kind of important to keep that in mind, that the so-called Antifa extremists have never been caught multiple times trying to assassinate Republican senators and trying to assassinate Republican presidents. It's not happened, so might want to keep that in mind. Moving on. Finding the owner of the car was not difficult. The tradesman said that he inherited the money. He bought weapons legally in 4 different states, as there was nothing to show him. However, he was still detained. FBI agents began examining the contents of Alexander's laptop and smartphone. The first thing they came across was child pornography, as so many right-wing extremists are. Fucking child molesters, or at least child molester sympathizers. More than 6,700 photographs and 1,200... Oh my God! 1,200 videos of pornographic content with minor was stored on 8 different digital medias. That was enough to indict Treisman and keep him in custody. The trial in his case began in September. The judge refused to release the accused on bail. But FBI suspected that child pornography lover was dangerous for more than that. The investigation continued all summer. The tradesman himself made it easier for the feds. He actively used various sites that racists, neo-Nazis, and other supporters of the philosophy and racial superiority like to use. In addition, Alexander filmed nearly all of his travels in the United States. He was not interested in well-known sites, but in places where terrorist attacks and massacres were committed. For example, he was thrilled to visit Las Vegas, the near Mandalay Bay Casino, where in 2017, 64-year-old Stephen Paddock shot 58 people. He actually killed 58 people. He shot like 600 people, but whatever, minor detail. So as you can see, this guy's a psychopath. So many of them are. This just keeps coming out of like all these like that's the big irony with this QAnon movement, isn't it? Because it seems like every time there's some crazy fuck that wasn't just Jeffrey Epstein, every time there's some crazy fuck that's like going to be doing something to do with kids or anything of the likes, and now terrorist attacks, like they happen to be far right wing extremists, usually white supremacist, neo-Nazi type of people, and yet you have an entire movement of people who think that like Joe fucking Biden is like eating babies or something after he rapes them. Like, it's really pathetic, and it's. I think it's more and more becoming clear that this is pure projection on their part. I think a lot of them are pedophiles themselves, and it's the case of like they're the screaming the loudest in the room to hide it away from them. Just like all these Republican senators back in the day were screaming against gay rights and gay marriage, and so many of them happen to be gay themselves, and they were uncomfortable with that because of something in their head. They couldn't just be themselves, so they had to hate what they were and fucking put everybody else down that was that as well. Well, I feel like in this case, you shouldn't like what you are, but it is the same thing of put everybody else down and don't look at me. It's not me that's doing it. This is just the most dangerous type of shit, and this is a ultra fringe ideology that is pushed into the smallest, darkest, cavernous areas of the internet and the world, where this bubble of infected, disgusting, really toxic ideology festers and grows and produces little agents to go do horrible things like this. It's really, it's quite terrifying. Thou doth protest too much. Yeah, that is the what I was trying to think of there. It's a case of pure projection. I think that half of these QAnon people, and that might be a big number, but man, it's a big number of people who believe in it in general. It might be like half of these people like have their own personal demons in this department. Let's continue with the article. Treisman focused on the idea of assassinating Joe Biden in the spring when it became clear that the former vice president would become the single Democratic candidate for the presidency. During the primaries, he confidently beat Senator Sanders, and after that, Alexander left a message on the popular internet platform Reddit in which he announced his intention to save Sanders. Oh, yeah. The FBI found out that these were not empty threats or plans at all. Between the mid-March and early May, Treisman acquired firearms and explosives. He actively searched Google for a variety of information about Biden, including maps of the former vice president's home, travel arrangements, the politician's work schedule. It was all to establish that he approaches Joe Biden's house in a white minivan at a distance of about 5 kilometers, followed the presidential candidate for some time. Despite Treisman's confession and revealed facts, it is not yet known whether new charges will be brought against him. The fact that Alexander suffers from Asperger's syndrome. Oh, the fact is that he suffers from Asperger's syndrome. It is a mental disorder characterized with several difficulties of social interaction as well as limited stereotyped, repetitive set of interests and activities. Treisman's obsessions may be the result of his illness. Okay, yeah. Listen, I've had friends that have Asperger's syndrome, and I've had friends that have severe Asperger's syndrome. And while I do understand that the illness entails repetitive things that they like and that they're awkward socially, Asperger's doesn't make you kill people. Asperger's doesn't make you go and get all these plans together and bombs and all of this. Okay? The insanity plea is where somebody literally doesn't know right from wrong. They're gone. They're gone. They can't function in society. That's what the insanity plea is. Almost everybody I've ever met with Asperger's can completely function with society. They completely know right from wrong. Asperger's doesn't mean you're a sociopath. Asperger's means you're socially awkward and like your brain works in slightly different ways. That doesn't even come close to excusing any of this. You can't just go with, oh, I have Asperger's, therefore it's okay that I tried to kill Joe Biden and that I saw 1 billion fucking hours of child porn and I fucking was gonna blow up some buildings and whatever else. And by the way, isn't Antifa crazy? That's not what Asperger's entails at all. That's a horrible excuse, and it's honestly just kind of pathetic that they're even trying to go with that. And yeah, that is the bottom of the article. So, in conclusion, some crazy fucking shit is going down today. I mean, I guess it wasn't going down today, but it's being reported today. Man, just be careful out there. Be careful out there because there's going to be blood in the fucking streets over this orange idiot and his refusal to denounce shit like this. He is egging on all of these fringe, isolated individuals with nothing but time on their hands to fester their hateful ideologies until they go out in the world and act upon them. And yeah, it's just the thing is that really, if you want to be safe, the irony is, you know, like, you're never going to be in danger if you're wearing a Trump hat. You're not. Like, the most danger you might be in is somebody giving you a weird look because, like, you're still supporting this fucking psychopath. That's the danger you're in. The danger if you're wearing, like, a Bernie hat or a Biden hat is you got a crazy fucking child molester that's going to, like, plan out a billion things and, like, set up a billion bombs to come and get you and blow up everything you knew and loved. That's the real danger out there. So, vote early if you fucking can. Because God forbid you be out there on November 3rd when these psychos realize this fucker's going to lose. Vote early if you can, and be careful out there. I'm sure more is going to come out about this. By the way, here's the guy, actually, before I leave. Here's the guy right here. Yeah, this is just a totally sane-looking individual, isn't he? Like, you could tell a sane person when you see one, huh? This is what we're talking about here. This is the guy who's been isolated from society because he's insane, and instead of somebody trying to approach him and deal with this in a healthy way that can actually improve his outlook on the world, his flawed outlook, and other people like him's flawed outlook. Instead of that, we've got they just willingly go and hide away from everybody. And even if somebody was going to come up and talk to them like that, you know, they threaten them and say that they're QAnon and they're trying to brainwash them away from the truth of Trump or some shit like that. Like, be careful out there. It's really dangerous. And I love you guys. This has been the Light Stream. Have a good day. The light is coming. Huh?
Yeah, I got mine at like the very last minute of your thing. It was quite a coincidence.
Right? Yeah, the world is going crazy.
I wonder if that was like your dad or something.
I don't know. Let's go to the house. That's a wrap.